What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live with your NFL Week 7 picks. Straight up and versus the spread. We are picking every game in the NFL for Week 7 here live. Let me know how you're feeling, how you're doing in the comments section. Whether you're live or you're not, whether you're watching this after the fact, let me know how you're doing in the comments. Let me know who you're picking. Let me know who your best bets are. Let me know in the comments. I know I had a bad week last week in my best bets. We are going to get to that on Thursday, but here every Wednesday on the Bottom Line View, we pick every game in the NFL. We have some fun breaking it down, and we preview each and every matchup. So if you like that, make sure that you do Gronk, spike that like button. Don't forget to Gronk, spike the notification bell as well for the latest upload on the channel. You can also subscribe to the channel if you are new for weekly NFL picks versus the spread as well as straight up. We go live every single night here on the Bottom Line View Wednesday nights for your picks. We also do NFL live streams, NFL reactions, rants, and more. So thanks, guys, for joining me. What's going on, everybody? We got Wrestled Chicken, who says, big fan. Thank you, Wrestled Chicken. I appreciate it, man. Methan says, sup. What's up, Methan? That's my man. Ryan says, even though they're on a bye, let's go Steelers. And Mr. Singh, the OG himself, says, hello. What's going on, Singh? How you doing, buddy? All right, you guys can also follow me if you like on Twitter. I get it the wrong way. There you go. See that? On Twitter, at Mitch Milani, Milani. You can also follow us on Instagram, where we put up exclusive content not found on YouTube, at the Bottom Line View. Ultra released his top 10 teams there on Instagram today. Okay, here we go. So let's begin with Thursday Night Football. We have a pretty wacky Thursday Night Football game. Not to say that Thursday Night Football isn't usually wacky, but we've got a lot of wackiness on this Thursday Night Football. What's up, Realistic Blue Shirts? How's it going, man? All right, Thursday Night Football. The Denver Broncos take on the Cleveland Browns. It has been ruled that Case Keenum will be the starting quarterback for your Cleveland Browns and not Baker Mayfield. So that means that I actually have more confidence in the Cleveland Browns offense. Yes, I know that sounds odd, but it shouldn't sound odd. If you've watched the Browns lately, you would understand that Baker Mayfield has been missing a lot of throws, and for whatever reason, his chemistry with Odell Beckham Jr. is the worst between a number one receiver and a quarterback that I have seen of their caliber in quite some time. Case Keenum is a quality backup quarterback. He is not a bad player. And I think he has a lot of similar qualities to Baker Mayfield, which is why they brought him into Cleveland. He's kind of smaller, right? He's not exactly the biggest quarterback in the world. I would say Baker has the better arm. I think Baker's slightly more mobile, but that being said, Case Keenum can move around, and he's kind of a gamer, Case Keenum. That's kind of what made him in 2017. That's what made him a starter in Minnesota. That's what made him a starter in Denver. And actually, this is a revenge game for Case Keenum because remember, he did start for the Broncos. So you always got to factor in that revenge game. Now, you guys want to check out the injury report? Go and do it yourself because there are so many injuries. I don't even know where to start. Like, there's injuries for the Browns on the defensive side. There's injuries on the Browns on the offensive side. There's numerous injuries on the offensive line. And I'm going to look it up just so I don't look like a clown here because there's like three. Last week, okay, the Cardinals completely demolished them. A lot of that had to do with some of the injuries on the offensive line along with Baker Mayfield playing hurt and not playing well. But let's just take a look at all these players so you guys know what I'm talking about. So this injury report is absolutely absurd. So this is a day before the game, okay? Cleveland has not had Odell Beckham Jr. play at practice. He did not practice the last 3 days. He is questionable. He might very well play. The latest one that I saw is that he's probably going to fight through it and play even though he hasn't practiced. Nick Chubb is out, okay? Jadeveon Clowney limited the whole week. He'll likely play, but you never know with Jadeveon Clowney. He has 3 separate injuries, an ankle, a chest, and a knee. A chest injury. I don't know how you get that. Jack Conklin is questionable. He was limited on Wednesday, did not practice on Tuesday and Monday. Maybe he's going to play this week. Didn't play last week. Myles Garrett is good to go, full practice, although he's also on the injury report for a knee and an ankle. The AJ Green, not the wide receiver, did not practice. He is out. He's a DB. Malik Jackson, limited, questionable. Baker, out. Malik McDowell is in. McKinley in. Newsome in. Njoku in, but they're all on the injury report. Malcolm Smith, questionable. JC Treader, questionable, although limited on his final day. Did not practice the first 2 days of the week. Probably will play. Jedrick Wills, same thing. Did not practice. Limited practice. Maybe he'll play, maybe he won't. So there might be a surprise inactive or two. But you look at that injury report, it's absolutely insanity right now. It's like 20 players long. You look at Denver, no Aaron Patrick, no Alexander Johnson. He was placed on injured reserve. No Baron Browning. But those are kind of not really important players, to be honest with you. And that's pretty much it. Teddy Bridgewater is also questionable, but he's been limited all week. I would expect him to play in this game. Garrett Bowles, same thing. So Denver is the healthier team. I would say Cleveland is the better team. Cleveland's the more talented team. I don't think there's much that separates these two quarterbacks. Both have played in Minnesota. I would say that both have kind of had somewhat similar careers in a way. And I would say that it'll be interesting to watch Shermer take on Stefanski because I think they kind of have similar offenses. Of course, Shermer was there in Minnesota before Stefanski was as the OC, and now they run their similar, different offenses in Cleveland and Denver. I think it's tough to really calculate what's going to happen in this game because there are so many injuries. But I've been saying all week that if Case Keenum plays for the Browns, I think that actually gives them a better chance to win. So I know that sounds wild, but I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns here to win the game and to cover the 2 points. I think that a lot of people are going to overreact to Baker not playing, but if you've been watching Baker play, it hasn't been pretty. So there is this weird world where Case Keenum playing actually unlocks Odell as long as he's in the lineup. Donovan Peoples-Jones has been coming alive in this offense. Obviously, the offensive line looks to be maybe a little bit healthier in this game, potentially. They don't have their running backs, but I still figured they'll be able to find some semblance of a run game. Denver has been so bad lately. It's really been rough for Denver lately. Like, they have not looked good at all on either side, really, of the ball. And Denver, I thought, would have been a great defense, but they got lit up by Derek Carr. I'm going to go with Cleveland. Home team, Thursday night. They need this game desperately. Honestly, both these teams need this game. But Cleveland, given their expectations for the season, need this one badly. So I'm going to say Cleveland comes through with a good performance. I just have no faith in Denver's offense right now to be able to put up a lot of points. This game should probably be pretty low scoring, but I will take the home team, Cleveland, and I'll take them to cover in this game. It's going to be a wild one, though, probably, and I would probably recommend staying away from it here if you are betting. Unless you want to look at some sort of under, but if you wanted to do that, you probably needed to do it earlier in the week. I'm just going to be honest with you because the number has probably gone down. I don't know that for a fact, but the number has probably fallen given all the injuries and just the general injury report itself. So this is probably expected to be a low-scoring game. That's pretty tight, but I'm going to go with Cleveland to win it because I don't think that quarterback downgrade is that significant. All right, next, the Atlanta Falcons at the Miami Dolphins. This one is interesting. Miami feels like a team that everybody is going to pick against. Like, everybody in the world is going to pick against Miami this week. Atlanta is coming off a bye. Miami is playing now a week after they played in London. Miami is playing terribly on defense, where really is where they should be making their money, right? That is Brian Flores' side of the ball. Now, I expect Howard and Byron Jones to be back in the lineup. Durkant, Miami fan, let me know if I'm correct on that. I believe I'm correct on that. Howard and Jones did not play versus Jacksonville, which was a significant loss. Atlanta is -2.5. The spread began even money, right? Even. Just pick the winner. Pick them, okay? Now it's 2.5. Atlanta's on the road going to Miami. Atlanta has had an extra week to prepare. There is some funky vibes about this game. I kind of feel like I'm going to pick Miami. And I don't really know why. I just kind of have a feeling that Miami is going to win. I don't know why. I've been thinking about it. And I feel like with all the Tua trade news and Howard and Jones back in the lineup, Calvin Ridley should be back for Atlanta. I think Atlanta is probably a better team. But when you look at Miami's deficiency of their offensive line, I don't really know if Atlanta has the pass rush to really take advantage of that. I thought Tua was actually pretty good versus Jacksonville. I'm not sure of the situation with the receiving weapons at wide receiver for Miami. I'm pretty sure. Let me check that. I'm pretty sure that Jalen Waddle will be in the lineup for sure. Mike Gesicki will be in the lineup, which could be a problem because I don't know who Atlanta is going to put on him. And he's had some good weeks. But I feel like, I kind of feel like Miami is going to win this game. I think the Tua potential trade rumors maybe spark something in the team. There's a lot of limited practice on Wednesday for Miami. Literally everybody on this thing is limited. So I don't know if that really gives you any sign, but Devontae Parker playing in this game would be a big thing. For Atlanta, Dante Fowler did not practice on Wednesday, so that's interesting. And Jalen Hawkins. Dante Fowler isn't as big of a part of the team as you would have thought, but still. So, yeah, I just have a feeling about that game. So I will take Miami, and obviously I'll take the points. It's one of these games that's between two bad teams, so it could go either way. And, Matt Ryan off a bye, could be interesting. I'm not going to be betting on this game just because the two teams suck. But, yeah, I'm going to take Miami. They're at home. I think they need a win desperately for Brian Flores' sake, for the GM's sake, for Tua's sake. And I think Miami gets it. So I'll take them. All right. Third game. The Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. The New York Giants. My bad. That's probably a shot at the Saints in some way, shape, or form by calling the Giants the Saints. But the Carolina Panthers are favored by 3 in this game. And I think rightfully so. The Giants have a lot of injuries, including Andrew Thomas at left tackle, who's been their best lineman. He is out on IR now. They're missing Kadarius Toney, who's not expected to play. He's doubtful with an ankle injury. Sterling Shepard's back in the lineup. I believe Darius Slayton is fine, and Kenny Golladay has been in and out of the lineup. Saquon is also out, I believe, for this week. He has not practiced yet. Defensively, the Giants brought in Bernardrick McKinney, which could help them defend the run game. Christian McCaffrey, I don't think is playing this week. I could be wrong about that, though. I don't think so. Otherwise, Carolina's pretty healthy on the offensive side of the ball, but their offensive line continues to stink it up. But the Giants' offensive line is even worse. I think the big mismatch in this game, which is why I lean Carolina, is Carolina's pass rush is very good. Their team has taken a hit in terms of their record the last few weeks. They are now 3-3, I believe, when they started 3-0. But I think where you can really hang your hat for Carolina is their pass rush. I also believe Stephon Gilmore started practicing today, so that's a big news item for the Carolina Panthers. Could potentially help out their defense very soon. The Giants' defense has been quite depressing, to be honest with you. Like, they haven't performed to my standard of what I thought they would be. And I just don't think Daniel Jones, with such lack of continuity at his skill positions, such terrible play on the offensive line, and without Saquon, guys, this is the wacky thing about Daniel Jones, that if you just check the stats, it's pretty amazing. But Daniel Jones is like a good quarterback. I'm not even saying he's average. He's a good quarterback when Saquon is in the lineup. Like, legitimately good. When Saquon doesn't play, and this is trending as well this year, when Saquon doesn't play, Daniel Jones, for whatever reason, is not a good quarterback. Like, that has been his whole career. When Daniel Jones has Saquon, even though he's a running back, he's been good. When Saquon is not in the lineup, he's been bad. This is legitimately statistically proven. You can look it up. But I like the Panthers here because I think they've got that big advantage with their D-line, their pass rush on the Giants' O-line, facing Nate Solder, who's literally blocking backwards. And the Giants, without Saquon, don't have much of a threat in their run game. They're too one-dimensional that way. Jason Garrett's offense isn't too creative and tough to figure out. And their defense has been playing bad. So while Sam Darnold's been struggling, the Carolina Panthers have been struggling to block. I don't think this is one of those teams where it's insurmountable. Plus, Carolina, they competed there at the end. I thought they gained some momentum offensively there at the end versus Minnesota. So maybe they take that into this week. Sam Darnold's got to protect the ball. Sam Darnold's got to play better for the Panthers down the stretch. But I think that they are the better team here. And I think they've got the big mismatch that I'm going to really lean on for this game. So I'm going to take Carolina to win. And I'll take Carolina to cover as well. The Giants, I like them. I want to cheer for them. I like a lot of their individual talents, but they just have not been able to put it all together, and they've been very, very, very injured, which also is depressing. If you're just joining me, make sure that you do spike that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more NFL picks just like this. All right, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals. And like I said, I will no longer be calling them the Bungles, but it's just so catchy, man. It's so catchy. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. It feels like the Ravens are the Denver Broncos. Do they play every game at home? Ravens fans, do you guys play every game at home? It feels like you're the Broncos. But I think this game's going to be real interesting. Kind of a measuring stick sort of game for the Cincinnati Bengals, because the Cincinnati Bengals have been very, very good as of late. Yes, they lost a close game to the Packers, but they competed with one of the better teams in the league, a top 10 team nonetheless. They just absolutely demolished the Detroit Lions, and they kept the foot on the gas in that game. I like what they're doing offensively in terms of their balance with Joe Mixon running the ball and their receiving weapons out wide. I like Joe Burrow quite a bit. Pressure doesn't seem to rattle that guy, and he consistently comes up with big plays down the field to Jamar Chase in these games. I would like to see a little bit more action from T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, specifically Tyler Boyd, to really unlock this offense, but maybe we'll see that in this game, as it's going to be difficult for the Ravens to completely match up with the Bengals, because typically they utilize Marlon Humphrey in a lot of different ways, which is why I think Marlon Humphrey is one of the most valuable defensive players in the NFL, because he kind of lines up everywhere. And if you watch the Chargers game, I mean, he was covering at times. He was covering Mike Williams a lot on big plays, but then he was also covering Keenan Allen at times, and he was covering Austin Eckler at times. He was covering Jared Cook at times. So, like, he's kind of everywhere, and they're going to pick their spots of where they put Marlon Humphrey on Jamar Chase, where they put Marlon Humphrey on Tyler Boyd, where they put Marlon Humphrey on T. Higgins. So that's going to be an interesting matchup to watch, and then how they formulate the rest of the defense. I think Don Martindale, I've been saying it the whole week, but I got to say it again because some people don't watch every show on this channel. Don Martindale has got to get a head coaching job. To me, he's the best defensive coordinator in the league, and it's because they don't really have a lot of talent, but their scheme is so good, and they consistently find ways to confuse like quarterbacks, and confuse good quarterbacks, not just like average quarterbacks, but good quarterbacks. They find ways to get pressure, even though, they're showing blitz, but they're only blitzing and rushing 3 or rushing 4, sometimes rushing 5 or 6. But they just show so many different creative ways of different coverages and things. They put safeties up at the box. They drop them back into a deep shell. Like they've got this corner coming and this linebacker dropping. And it's pretty wild. I feel like Don Martindale's the best DC in the league right now, and I think that's a big reason why I am starting to believe in the Ravens as a complete team. And I didn't really think they had it in them roster-wise, but the more that you watch them, the more that they continue to play. They just keep getting better and better in all facets of the game. You've got Rashad Bateman now added to this receiving core. He looks to be already one of Lamar's go-to guys, receiving over 20% target share on like 66% of snaps, whatever he played, which was pretty impressive. So look for him to make an impact in this game. I actually expect this game to be somewhat of a defensive game. I think that the Ravens offense might actually have a tougher time than some expect in this game because the Bengals have been low-key very good versus the run this season, and that is all to do because of DJ Reader, who when he's on the field is one of the best nose tackles stopping the run in the game, and they've got a good feisty D-line. Trey Hendrickson just chases after you for like 25 seconds until he gets a sack. And the secondary for the Bengals is pretty good. They've also got good safety play, and I'm pretty sure they're all healthy and intact, so that is a positive thing. If I'm wrong there, let me know, but the Bengals defense, don't sleep on them. Logan Wilson playing good ball, Jesse Bates, of course. They've got 3 corners that can play, so I think overall the Bengals are going to give the Ravens a tougher time than I think people expect. And then on the opposite side of the ball, I think the Ravens' ability, like I said, to kind of show blitz and then not know who's coming, who's dropping, and what's happening is going to probably confuse the Bengals offensive line that is not exactly one of the best in the league, as well as a younger quarterback, Joe Burrow, after just doing that to Justin Herbert. And I think that is ultimately what's going to win the Ravens this game and could turn the tide of this game. So I think it's going to be a tight game all day long. And then I think the Ravens ultimately are going to pull it out because of that defense maybe capitalizing on a big play, a sack, an interception, a strip fumble, something of that nature where it kind of turns the tide of this game. But I'm going to take the Ravens to win. I want to see this game to be close. I want it to be, within a touchdown. So I will take the Bengals to cover just because I want to. This is probably a game that I won't be betting on unless I take like Baltimore in a teaser or something like that. But that's probably the only way. I might not be looking at the Bengals plus the 6.5 just because of the history of the Bengals getting demolished by the Ravens. But I also believe that the Bengals are a better team than they've been, so that's why I maybe wouldn't be going all in on the Ravens this week either. So that's kind of where I stand on that game. That to me is low-key one of the best games of the week in my opinion. Next, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. This is probably the game of the week, as you see in the thumbnail. That is the thumbnail for a reason. You've got King Henry versus Patrick, incompletion king himself, Mahomes. The Chiefs, minus 5.5 right now. This seems like a lot of points after the Tennessee Titans, who are back at home after just beating the Bills at home. Minus 5.5 the Chiefs are. Isn't this nearly an identical spread to the Buffalo Bills, or at least what it started at? But it ended up being 7.5 in that one, and it might actually end up being 6.5 at the end of the day for Kansas City. Maybe. I think this is going to be tough for the Titans to go back-to-back games. It's going to be tough to go from Buffalo, not in Buffalo, but to play Buffalo and then to go to Kansas City. Even though, you're playing 2 good quarterbacks who are kind of similar in the way that they kind of escape the pocket, run around, throw lasers, that sort of thing. That's what Mahomes and Allen do. The offenses are quite different in terms of their schemes, though. Tyreek Hill is a different type of problem that doesn't exist on the Bills, even though Stephon Diggs is a great player. Tyreek Hill is a different type of matchup for the Titans that I don't think they'll have an answer for. They're going to have to find some sort of way to just double him on every play. And Travis Kelce is certainly a problem as well. The Chiefs also, their offensive line has been a lot better than I think people give them credit for. And the Bills' offensive line, I don't think, has quite been as good as the Chiefs. So I do think the Chiefs, the Bills were able to move the ball. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball just as much, if not more, on the Titans. A Titans team that's beat up in the secondary, a Titans defense that's already bad to begin with, and already lacking, getting a consistent pass rush. Although they were fortunate to come up with a couple big plays, and that helped them win the game. So I think clearly Kansas City's going to score 30 plus. The question is, can the Titans do that? That's really the question. I think the Titans should be able to do that. There's no question the Chiefs defense is really bad, and that's a big reason why. If the Titans can consistently move the ball at 5 yards a clip on the ground, they've got a chance to control this game and a chance to pull off the upset. Ultimately, I think, when you look at the Chiefs last week, they played better defensively. A lot of that was due to aggressiveness. And I think for the Chiefs, if they're going to win this game, they're going to make enough negative plays in the run game to the point where they get the Titans in enough pure passing situations where Spagnuolo can just be chaotic and creative and just get after the quarterback. And because Tannehill's good, but he's certainly no elite quarterback where the drop back pass game in Tennessee isn't exactly excellent or anything like that. And Julio's already banged up. He's a liability to leave the game at any point. A.J. Brown hasn't been that impressive to me, although he was better last week. Obviously, the Bills' defense is better than the Chiefs, but in a weird way, the Chiefs' defense has honestly played the Titans better than the Bills in the last couple of years. So I think that the Chiefs will win this game. They're due to win a game versus a good opponent this year, but I do think it's going to be very, very close. And I just think it's going to be hard for the Titans to beat the Bills and get emotionally at the same level to beat the Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs kind of have a point to prove here. I'm going to say the Chiefs win, but it's by a field goal or something like that at the end of the game. I just find it very hard to see the Titans actually stopping Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill in this game. So as much as I've hated on the Chiefs this year, I think they're due to get one of these wins. So I think they're winning this game, maybe on the last drive, maybe something of that nature. But I think they come out with it in Tennessee by 3 or 4 points. So I will take the Titans to cover the 5.5, but I will take the Kansas City Chiefs to win the game. Next, the New York Jets, some call them the New Jersey Jets, go to New England for the second time they play the Patriots this year. Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, who right now are PFF's 2 top-graded rookie quarterbacks, although Mac Jones is 20 points higher than second best. The Patriots coming off a devastating loss to Dallas. How will they respond? They're back at home once again. And yeah, guys, they have yet to win a game at home this year, which is pretty wild considering New England was a 6 minimum win team at home every year for the last 20 years. Even last year, they were better than this at home. So the Patriots, I think, finally get their first home win in this game. They dominated the Jets in the first time. We saw Damian Harris have a good one. I think it's key for New England here to get the ground game going. I think that's going to be a big part of this game for them is getting the ground game going. The Jets have allowed the most points in fantasy to running backs this year, so I think that will be big for Damian Harris. And I think I really want to see, as a Patriots fan, I want to see them find an identity, specifically offensively, because I think their offense in certain moments has been good. It's been promising, but we haven't really seen them lean on a certain aspect of the offense, whether that's the short passing game, play action, run game. They've been trying to figure things out with all the new personnel at the skill positions, with the offensive line being in and out of the lineup. They actually have some sort of stable O-line now. I believe what they're doing is Isaiah Wynn at left tackle, Ted Karras at left guard. Onwenu moved to right tackle. Shaq Mason's coming back at right guard, who didn't play, versus the Cowboys, and center David Andrews. So they're pretty much without Trent Brown now, which is good because the last 3-4 weeks they've kind of been without 3 or 4 starters. So now they've got at least 4 starters in there. So that helps them a lot. But Mac Jones keeps getting better and better and better. Personally, I talk about this in the Belichick video, which, by the way, if you are a patron of the channel, I put out the script today. If you want to check it out, I'm making that video. I'm going to get it done, edited and all that by at least Saturday. I'm excited to make it because I think it's going to be good. But I just want to see the Patriots trust Mac Jones, let him throw the ball, let him get it out of his hands quick, work on that short passing game. I feel this offense should be similar to, the 2010 to 2012 offense where it's like short passing game, and that should be the way that they run it, at least, for a majority of the time. But I got the Patriots here. I think they win. I hope they come out and they just demolish the Jets, but I'm not sure that will happen. The Jets are coming off a bye. The OC, the Jets, Mike LaFleur, has been a disaster. He's been the worst OC in the league. His plays have been entirely predictable. Belichick had just absolutely all over it in the first matchup. We'll see if that exists once again. He's had a week to prepare, so maybe they change it up a little bit. Maybe Zach Wilson doesn't throw the ball to the other team 4 or 5 times this time around. The Jets will fight. They'll make this one nasty, feisty. But I think the Patriots are better, and they're due for a win here. When you look at their I don't know exactly what I want to check this, but I think their point differential is actually fairly even. Like, I think if I were to think about it, they've lost 4 games. They've won 2. I'm going to look this up. I feel like their point differential is nearly even. I'm going to look at this. Point differential NFL. Because they've lost to the Cowboys by 6, although that was closer than 6-point game. And then they lost to the Bucs by 2. They did lose to the Saints by a good margin. So New England, where are they? New England is minus 0.3 per game, it says, on the year. The highest team being Buffalo, 17.5. Let's check this. Because this is actually very interesting to me. So the Patriots have a minus 2-point differential despite being 2-4. So the Jets have a minus 54-point differential, and they've played 5 games. So I'm going to take New England here. I think they win. I think they cover probably, although 7.5 is a bit scary because you got to cover a touchdown plus the half a point, which makes it even scarier. So I think I would look to tease the Patriots. I think that's the best way to play this game if you're betting on it. So I'll take New England to win and hopefully cover, but I'm not going to guarantee that or anything like that. So New England, come on, man. Play better. All right. Washington and the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is favored by 9. I've seen in some places it's 8.5. If it is, in fact, 8.5, that makes it a great teaser opportunity, 6-point teaser opportunity to get it below the 3 points, in my opinion, because I think Green Bay, and I'm spoiling my pick, are pretty much a lock to win this game. Washington is very bad. Very bad. Like I said it last week versus the Chiefs, they have nothing I like about their team. Nothing. I don't like their passing offense. I don't like their rushing offense. Their offensive line isn't great. Their running back is beat up. He's got a shin issue. Terry McLaurin's the only good player there. Ricky Seals-Jones is now beat up. Their second tight end. Their other receivers are irrelevant. The quarterback is a high school no, I'm just kidding. Their quarterback is a backup, right? Their defense can't get a pass rush even though they've got all first-round picks. Their secondary doesn't cover. Their defense is vanilla. Like, what do I like about this team? I like nothing. Nothing. I will take the Packers to win, and I will also take the Packers to cover. I don't care. 9 points. They'll win by double digits. I got Green Bay 30-17 in this game. Green Bay's defense quietly playing well. Even though they're beating up on some bad offenses, they're still quietly playing well. And, oh, yeah, Washington is a bad offense. So you don't really got to worry about them getting shredded here. But the Packers, Devontae Adams is going to shred the Washington football team. It's just a matter of fact here. And Rodgers is playing good. They're in Lambeau. You really want to bet on Taylor Heineken to beat the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau the week after he proclaimed that he has a ownership of the Chicago Bears? Really? I got the Packers here. Packers by double digits. Moving on. The Detroit Lions, the LA Rams. This is actually, despite the 15-point spread, an absolutely amazing storyline game because it's Matthew Stafford playing the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff playing the Los Angeles Rams, returning to LA, on top of the fact that Sean McVay is absolutely going to want to punish. I'm talking about demolish, shred, absolutely beat down Jared Goff. Like, I think Sean McVay is going to want to put up 1,000 points in this game. This is going to be like the 2007 Patriots versus the Washington, at the time, Redskins, Washington football team, when they beat them like 52-0. That's going to be this game, okay? Like, I'm taking the Rams to win and to cover. I don't care. The Lions got demolished, bro. Demolished last week by the Cincinnati Bengals. Dan Campbell called out his quarterback, Jared Goff. But you know what the problem is? Jared Goff, he is soft. He's not going to rise to the occasion. McVay's going to have a plan on defense that absolutely just destroys Jared Goff because he knows all of his weaknesses. I've got the Rams 44-10. That is the score I got. The Lions stink. Like, I feel bad for Dan Campbell. They stink. Stink. All right. Philadelphia Eagles at the Las Vegas Raiders. This has been a game that you can get on my Patreon. Wink, wink. Link is in the description. I talked about this one in depth. I like the Raiders here. I like the Raiders. I think the Eagles are massively overrated. Jalen Hurts, massively overrated. Very inaccurate quarterback and passer. Just, yes, he can run around. But Max Crosby is going to run around and take your kneecaps off like Dan Campbell. If Max Crosby was on the Lions, I would bet on the Lions because Max Crosby is a freaking animal, bro. This guy had 3. I just knocked my mic off. I was so excited about Max Crosby. Max Crosby had 3 sacks last week. The Raiders' defensive line is a bunch of assassins. These guys are nuts. They're like all over the quarterback all day. It's going to be exactly like the Bucs game, where it's just like Shaq Barrett running Jalen Hurts down from behind. Exactly like last week. And Derek Carr, Hunter Renfrow might have 15 catches in this game. Like, I take the over. Whatever prop you find Hunter Renfrow on, first off, Avonte Maddox sucks. Second, they play the softest coverage I've ever seen in my life. Like, the Eagles versus the Bucs look like their safeties were so far back, it looked like they weren't even in the stadium. That's how far back they were. They were in the end zone. That's where the safeties were. So you got Henry Ruggs in this game. He's going to force those safeties back. Darren Waller's going to eat versus the worst linebackers in the NFL. Hunter Renfro's going to have 400 catches. Derek Carr's going to put up 35 fantasy points because I had to pick him up this week because I got Russell Wilson on IR. And I got the Raiders winning this game. My Raiders 27-17. Raiders. Jalen Hurts will probably, maybe even 20. Jalen Hurts will score some points at the end, as he always does, to make his stat line look better and put up 25 fantasy points somehow, some way. But the actual football will not be good. The Eagles refuse to run the ball. They've gotten Dallas Goedert still hurt. Devontae Smith, good player, but like I'm not scared. Raiders are ready. Raiders might make the playoffs. You better believe it. The Raiders. John Gruden, better off without him. Derek Carr time. Next. Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm going to check this. Okay? I want to check the Bucks points at home. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year scored 31 on Dallas at home, 48 on Atlanta at home, 45 on the Dolphins at home. So in 2 of their 3 home games, they've scored 40-plus points. And versus the Cowboys, they scored 31. That is ludicrous. They play the Bears at home. The Bears are a good defense. Problem is, the Bears are an absolutely good matchup for the Bucks because the Bears have a good pass rush, but the Bucks have arguably the best O-line and quarterback combination when it comes to getting rid of the ball, when it comes to protecting the quarterback, and when it comes to not allowing a pass rush affect the quarterback. The Bucks are very good at that, and Brady is very good at that. The Bears have a very susceptible secondary. They don't have very good cover players when they have time. The opposing passer has time to throw the ball. So that being said, Jalen Johnson might be on Evans or AB or whatever. AB actually a little bit dinged up right now. Gronk may or may not play, but OJ Howard's come on a little bit. Cam Brate, and obviously Lenny Fournette coming on. I think the Bucks are going to score about 30 points. So maybe not 40, but 30-ish. I expect Godwin to have a big game here. Defensively, the Bears are in for an absolute nightmare. Because, yes, the Bucks don't have good corners right now, but it doesn't matter. Like I said with the Packers game, the Packers had all their corners hurt too. But the Bears can't pass the ball. Like, Justin Fields is running around. He's the worst quarterback in the NFL versus the blitz. And the Bucks blitz like more than anybody. Like, this is a terrible matchup. Like, Justin Fields is going to be under duress every play. Todd Bowles is going to be sending the kitchen sink. I got the Bucks 31-14 over Chicago. Bucks cover in this game. Another win at home for Tampa Bay. Next. The Houston Texans at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals minus 18.5. Holy smokers. That might be the biggest spread of the year so far. The Cardinals, some say the best team in football. The Texans, some say the worst team in football. Hopefully you say they're the worst team in football. That's bad if you don't. The Cardinals, they're really good, but are they good enough to cover 18.5 in the NFL? I mean, that's a lot of points. The Texans, man, the Texans. Oh my gosh. Are the Cardinals, like, one of these weeks, like, the Cardinals are not going to play up to, like, their level. Like, they're going to win, but, like, I'm going to take the points. That's too many points. That's 3 scores. That's 3 scores. Like, that's not just 2. That's not 15 like the Rams game. That's 3 scores. Oh, my God. Yeah, I got to take 18.5, but I will take the Cardinals. I think what probably happens is the Cardinals are up big and then they kind of glide to the win. So I'm going to say Cardinals win 34-17. 34-17 Cardinals. That's my score. Maybe even like 38-20, but something kind of wild like that. But yeah, I kind of think that's what's going to happen. Like, the Cardinals will be up big, and then ultimately the Texans will fight back. But who knows, man? Who knows? They could cover. They could beat them by 20. I'm not going to be betting on this game because I'm not betting on the Texans to save my life. But I'll take the 18.5 just for fun. Now, with the Cardinals, I think what's not getting enough attention with the Cardinals is their defense. I think Vance Joseph, filling in as head coach last week, by the way, doing a very good job. I thought he did a great job versus the Browns. Really took their run game away. I think he's a creative coordinator. They've got a bunch of athletic guys on their defense that come to play and play well. So start to put some respect on that defense because I think they've won them the last couple of games. You know, Kyler's been really good, but I think the Cardinals offense gets enough attention. Not enough people talk about their defense that is playing well. So give credit to the Cardinals defense. All right, let's look at those primetime games. We got the Indianapolis Colts at the San Francisco 49ers. I actually like the Colts here, plus the 4. I think that's a solid bet. The Colts are playing better than people give them credit for, and as you guys know, I haven't given the Colts a ton of credit. Like before the year, I was calling the Colts overrated, and I think rightfully so. They're 2-4. But I believe that now they're underrated. I think now they're underrated. And this is where I prove to you guys that I'm not just some biased clown that hates the Colts party. I actually just pick teams based on what the perception is, okay? My overrated lists, me picking over-unders, me predicting teams, has nothing to do with me hating your team. It has everything to do with me being an analyst, okay? Everything. I don't hate the Colts. Why would I hate the Colts? We steamrolled them in like 18 AFC Championship games. Anyways, the Colts. I like them here plus 4. The 49ers are coming off a bye. They are at home. I like Kyle Shanahan. I love the Niners, and I do have inherent Niner bias because I like Kyle Shanahan. But Jimmy Garoppolo is not the best quarterback in this game. Okay? Carson Wentz is better right now. Carson Wentz has one turnover-worthy play this season. Carson Wentz has actually been playing pretty good football the last couple weeks. He was the highest-graded PFF quarterback last week, and he played really well versus a defense that just made Justin Herbert look like a high school quarterback. The run game for the Colts has been really impressive. Jonathan Taylor's been low-key one of the best running backs in the league the last few weeks. T.Y. Hilton is back, stressing secondaries. Michael Pittman's legit. Mo Alley Cox can play. They've got some decent weapons there that can pick on the secondary, I think. Frank Reich's a very good coach. He's not going to get completely outcoached, even though the Niners are coming off a bye. No George Kittle for the Niners. They both play very similar defensive schemes, so there's some carryover there. I think this game is a field goal game either way. Field goal game either way. I honestly think the Colts are going to win. I honestly think the Colts are going to win. I'm going to take the Colts to win and the plus 4. I'm not as confident about the Colts winning the game outright, but I will take them to win just because I want to have some fun. But the Niners defense, I will say their front has been very solid. I think it will be a battle between two very solid front sevens and which team can really get their run game going better. And I actually think it's going to be the Colts. So I'm going to take Indianapolis here to win and definitely give me that 4 points, even though they are on the road in a big spot. I think the Colts are going to prove to people in this game that they are actually underrated and not, like I said at the beginning of the year, overrated. Hopefully we rightfully have ranked them now where they should belong, which is average, okay? Average. Next. And the final game. Guys, before I give you this final pick, make sure you do Gronk spike that like button. For some reason, we've got over 115 people watching, but only 26 Gronk spikes, which is not appreciated, all right? Not appreciated, but I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate you guys supporting me. If you want to support me, you could check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. $3 tier gets you BLV versus consensus. $5 tier gets you all my gambling stuff. Go check it out. And $20 tier, which is the top tier, the BLV GOAT. You get a shout out every week on the bottom line. All right. New Orleans, -5. I love, not just like, I love the Saints this week. I love the Saints. Give me the Saints. -5. Jameis Winston, my boy, coming off the bye. Jameis Winston with Sean Payton prepping for an entire week. I think Pete Carroll without Russell Wilson is lost. This is why I like the Saints, okay? When the Seahawks were losing to the Steelers, Pete Carroll came out at halftime and said, we got to run the ball more. It just so happened that the Seahawks actually ran the ball well on the Steelers. But they're not going to run the ball for shit in this game because you can't run the ball on the Saints, period. So, I've got the Saints here. Marshawn Lattimore should do a good job on DK Metcalf. Geno Smith will struggle with the pressure that the Saints send at him. And I think the Saints not just win and cover, I think they actually win pretty easily. I'm going to say they win like 27-10 over Seattle. I think this is what we saw on Sunday where the Steelers are up 14-0 kind of thing, but then the Saints actually finish the job. So that's what I got for that game. I like the Saints a lot. I think Kamara should probably have a big spot here versus a defense that's very spotty versus the run. So I've got the Saints. I think this is a good matchup for them to get another win, looking to secure a wild card spot. I think they play the Bucs next week, so that's a big game for them leading in after this Monday nighter. All right, guys. Well, that is it for the picks. Those are all my picks, straight up and versus the spread. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for a few minutes. If you have any NFL questions, any Mitch questions, any other questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate it. Don't forget to Gronk spike that like button and subscribe if you are new for more BLV. Yeah, this isn't the greatest week in the world, though. I will admit, this isn't the greatest NFL week. Gloria says, hit the like button. I did. Did you? Thank you, Gloria. Appreciate that. Turtle has got his Saints 28-17. Nice to see you in the chat, Turtle. Nelly says, should I trade Cooper and Schultz minus... Cooper and Schultz for Ridley. Okay. Ooh. Depends who else you have at tight end. What's the tight end sitch? Methan says, what team do you think is the biggest train wreck in the NFL? Right now, the Dolphins. Low key, the Dolphins right now. I mean, look what's happening with their quarterback situation. Jameis has been quietly pretty darn good. He's been good for what they've asked him to do. I mean, he certainly hasn't been asked to be like Patrick Mahomes or anything. But he's been good. Like, I give him credit for where they're at. I'm hopefully, and I think the thought is, like, when they get Michael Thomas in there, maybe they'll start to be a little bit more aggressive, because I think if they are going to be a playoff team and actually have a chance to win any playoff game, they're going to need to put a little bit more on his plate in terms of passing the ball, but they don't really have the weapons right now to do that, so we'll see if that happens, if Michael Thomas can ever get on the field. Hunter Henry. Okay. It's not a bad move. I mean, personally, I don't think Ridley is like a significant upgrade over Amari Cooper, but I do think he is an upgrade. So if you feel that way, that like that's a good trade for you, having Hunter Henry to fill in for Schultz, I think that's a good move. Yeah, that's a solid move for you. I mean, it's not like, I don't think it's a home run, like amazing move, but I think it's a solid move, and you're probably plus that way. So I would say that's a solid move. Where do I rank the Raiders? Edgar, check out my power rankings. I put them, I think, somewhere in the middle, so go check it out. Yeah, I saw the rumors for Watson to Miami. They actually seem legit. Yeah, they do seem legit because there's legit sources behind it this time. My question is, which I don't understand, my question is, Watson can't play this year, right? Like, how's that going to work? Super chat from Cryptic Ninja. What's going on, Ninja? He says, can't wait for the Tampa Bay New Orleans game next week. I will definitely be live streaming that. Most likely. I think the tough thing is Tampa Bay New Orleans and New England Chargers is on at the same time. So that kind of stinks. I might have to do like a doubleheader call. Brendan says, do you think that the Cowboys could be contenders? Yeah, I think they are contenders. If I were to predict the playoffs right now, that is interesting. I think the Cowboys are certainly in the divisional round. I'm not sure if I'd quite put them in the NFC Championship, but they're close. They're close. Flicker says, should I start Ryan Tannehill or Derek Carr this week? I think I'd lean Ryan Tannehill there. Also, why is Cordero Patterson only projected 3 points? I have no idea. Don't look at the projections. Don't worry about that. You can't flex this early. Turtle, you got to get back in the chat, man. I don't care what you're doing. If you're filming a damn movie. Methan says, do you watch college football? I do watch here and there. I'm not like a diehard college football fan, though. Big Al says, I agree putting the Cards at number 3. I don't have them winning the Super Bowl. Thank you. At least somebody agrees. How many interceptions does Wilson throw this time? I'm going to say 2. I don't think he throws like 4 or 5, but I'll say 2. Steeler Nation says, Rams, Bucks, NFC Championship, maybe Chargers and Bills, AFC Championship. Okay. I like it. Okay. Brandon says Chargers are not making it to the AFC Championship. I'd probably say that too. But, hey, I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't say like it's impossible. Let's put my socials up there. All right, Turtle. Where are you at school? Are you at college? By the way, if you guys don't know who Turtle is, he's one of the guys in the BLV Discord. If you want to join the BLV community, the Discord is the place to be. That's where all the characters are at. I'm talking the OG Lenny B. I'm talking Durkant with his foolish takes. Ultra talking about his girlfriend every single minute he gets. Turtle talking about his 18 girlfriends. Wave God is in the chat. Go check it out. BLV Discord. Link is in the description. Cryptic Ninja. $4.99. Thank you, sir. I appreciate these super chat, guys. Thank you so much for the super chats. He asks, in my opinion, Tampa Bay New Orleans is starting to become one of the bigger rivalries. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would say that there is kind of a different flavor to the rivalry now with Jameis Winston being there. So we'll see how it goes. But I would say, yeah, it's one of my favorite ones right now. Especially last year, I thought it was the best rivalry in the league. But I think without Drew Brees, it does lose a little bit of luster because, you know, the all-time quarterback versus all-time quarterback is such a good, like, rivalry. Caesar says, are the Cowboys finally Super Bowl contenders? Bro, somebody just asked that question. I said yes. Hopefully you caught it the first time, but if you didn't, you caught it the second time, so yes. Chances of the Titans making it to the Super Bowl. I think they can. My problem with the Titans is I don't think they can pull off like 3-4 games in a row. I think they can pull off one. Like, they could beat anybody. Like, they could beat they could beat anybody in the AFC. But I don't know if they could do it twice. Like, I don't know if they could beat the Chiefs and then beat the Chargers. You know, beat the Chiefs, then the Ravens and the Chargers. Like, beat the Bills and the Chiefs. We'll see if they can beat the Bills and then the Chiefs. I think they can put together one good game where they beat one of those teams, but their defense is so lackluster to me that I just don't think they can consistently do that, especially if they're on the road for those games. Especially if they're on the road. These games, they're at home. How do you think the Steelers can fix their offense? Oh, get rid of Ben. Get rid of Ben. Get a new O-line. I think the O-line is a big problem. The scheme is also a little bit of a problem, but I think a lot of that also falls on Big Ben. So there's 2 to 3 things there in the mix. In Colin Cowherd's Super Bowl bubble, he has the Cards, the Bills, the Rams, the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Chiefs. You missed the Bucks, but yeah, he has those teams. I saw that video, actually. Cards, Bill. I like that concept. I've done it on the channel before. Meathan says Titans are a 101% chance to make the playoffs because of the division. I wouldn't rule the Colts out just yet. Any other questions? Will the Browns turn a leaf after the bye? When's their bye? Let me check their bye. Their bye's not this week. So they play the Broncos, then the Steelers. When is their bye? 13, week 13. That's a long ways away, man. You got to win games before that. So I wouldn't even take the bye into the consideration here. Like, they've got to beat the Broncos. They've got to beat the Steelers. Bengals, Patriots, those will be tough games on the road. Lions, they'll definitely beat. Ravens will be a tough game. Then they got the bye and beat the Ravens. So I think the key is they got to beat the Ravens once, rather before the bye or after the bye. Then they play the Raiders, the Packers. Those are tough games. The Steelers and the Bengals again. So it's not an easy schedule. I would say, like, don't even worry about the bye right now. Like, I wouldn't even be in my consideration. Do I think the Vikings will make the playoffs? Probably. I haven't like gone through every team's schedule and like predicted everything, but I think the Vikings look pretty good right now, so I'd say yes. They're also pretty healthy, which helps. Chubb gonna put the goddamn team on his back after his return from injury, says Connor. Okay. Cryptic says, thank you again for the super chat, sir. If anyone wants to join him, just, super chat. Let me know. One more. Who do you think give the Cards their first loss? Let's roll with the Packers next week. Why not? What's up, Connor? How you doing, man? What team do you think will run the AFC North for the next 10 years? I think the easy answer is the Ravens. Even though I don't think any team will run it necessarily. I think there'll be some competition there. MVP candidates: Brady, Kyler, Henry, Lamar, Dak. There's a lot. I don't think there's really one that stands out above the rest right now. I will say if Brady keeps putting up the stats he puts up, he'll probably win it, but I don't think there's a clear MVP right now, to be honest. I will probably make a mid-season MVP video because that's kind of like a tradition, but I'm not sure who it's going to be yet. Do you think the Colts will make the playoffs? I don't know. They're going to be close. They're borderline. They're borderline. Not quite sure. All right, guys. That is it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your questions, by the way. And thank you for joining me live. It's Mitch of TheBottomLineView. Always have fun with these live streams. We will see you tomorrow. I'm putting out my best bets for the week tomorrow. Also going to keep working on that Belichick video, which I promise you is going to be some good stuff. If you want more in terms of what I think on these games, you can head over to my Patreon. That $5 tier gets my 2 gambling previews per week as well as my bets throughout the week. Thanks for watching. It's Mitch, and thank you, Cryptic Ninja, for another super chat. Brady and Evans always get disrespected. Evans gets disrespected a lot. Hopefully you respect Brady by now. Peace.